On April 20th, an explosion and fire occurred in the Deepwater Horizon drilling rig, which BP was...
A few minutes before 10 p.m., they heard a noise they'd never heard before.
Is searching for 11 missing workers after an oil rig explosion in the Gulf of Mexico.
On behalf of the entire committee, to convey our deepest sympathies to the family, friends, and co-workers of those 11 individuals lost on that fateful day.
April 20th, 2010. The Deepwater Horizon offshore drilling rig in the Gulf of Mexico exploded, spewing millions of barrels of oil into the Gulf and placing offshore oil drilling in the national spotlight. Suddenly, we found ourselves reconsidering the drive for oil that has gripped the United States for the past few decades. However, this surge for resources is nothing new. In 1849, an unquenchable thirst for resources drove masses of people to California in pursuit of gold. The California gold rush was over a century ago, but the problems and questions that arose from it are just as evident in the oil rush of today. In 1847, a Swiss immigrant named John Sutter commissioned the building of a sawmill. One of the builders, James Marshall, spotted metal in the river, and this metal was soon confirmed as gold. In 1848, a man named Sam Brannan publicized this discovery in his newspaper, prompting thousands of people to rush west. Outside of California, the economy suffered as men abandoned their jobs and families were torn apart by men who had flocked west and did not come home. The Californian, a San Franciscan newspaper, reported, "The whole country resounds with the sordid cry of gold, 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 while the field is left half planted, the house half built, and everything neglected but the manufacture of picks and shovels." Environmentally, the gold rush took a major toll on California. In 1853, Edward Madison introduced hydraulic mining, a method through which powerful jets of water are fired at hillsides to uncover gold underneath the rock. Water cannons washed away extreme amounts of rock and soil, and the remains were dumped into nearby rivers, making them unnavigable, as well as smothering living creatures. William Brewer, a member of a survey team examining the effects of the gold rush, wrote, "The mud not only muddies the Sacramento River for more than 400 miles of its course, but also is slowly and surely filling up the San Francisco Bay." In 1884, Judge Lorenzo Sawyer passed the Sawyer decision, which ruled that dumping residue into California waters was illegal. Hydraulic mining companies were no longer able to get rid of their residue and therefore no longer able to mine. The Sawyer decision marked the finish line of a 30-year race for gold. Decades later, another thirst for resources began to develop. This time, it was oil that captured the hearts and minds of Americans. Most offshore oil drilling occurs in the outer continental shelf, which extends 200 miles into the ocean. The Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act of 1953 gives the government the power to sell leases to oil companies, meaning the government has full control over drilling. A recent push into deeper waters has increased the risk of disaster, for deepwater wells are capable of spouting up to 100,000 barrels of oil a day, and high pressure in the depths of the Gulf makes it extremely difficult to stop leaks. On April 20th, 2010, the blowout preventer on British Petroleum's Deepwater Horizon rig, owned by Transocean, failed to stop a buildup of pressure. The ensuing explosion resulted in
the worst environmental disaster America has ever faced.
4.9 million barrels of oil spewed from BP's Macondo well into the Gulf of Mexico. As multiple efforts to stop the leak failed, no one knew how to react.
There really was a sense of complacency everywhere. It was the government, it was the public, it was the industry. Everyone felt that it couldn't happen, that we had figured it out, that we had been drilling now for 20 years offshore without a major incident. And we decided we were going to roll the dice, and we lost.
The tragedy that resulted from the blowout prompted Ken Salazar, the Secretary of the Department of the Interior, to impose a 6-month moratorium, or halt, on offshore drilling. This moratorium caused the temporary loss of 8,000 to 12,000 jobs.
They think right now that the oil is dumb out there, and then I don't know how long we won't survive, and I don't know how long they go back to normal.
If it comes ashore, it's going to kill everything.
It's going to hurt our business in the seafood industry.
The effects of an oil spill are most devastating to nature. After the Deepwater Horizon spill, over 4,000 birds and over 500 sea turtles were found dead. Animals coated in oil cannot regulate their body temperatures, leading to hypothermia and death. Marine life further suffered from the 2 million gallons of chemicals that were sprayed into the water to speed up the dispersion of the oil. Economic upheaval, political controversy, social tension, environmental devastation. The consequences of offshore oil drilling are easily identified, yet the solutions to these issues are far more complicated. The government, which has always maintained power over the country's natural resources, took control of the gold rush through the Sawyer decision, and today's government must now do the same.
The issue with the government is that the agency that was charged with overseeing offshore drilling, was the Minerals Management Service at the time, was compromised. It was compromised in the sense that it had two conflicting missions. One was to make leasing decisions and to collect revenue. The other was to regulate environmental and safety issues. And you can guess which of those two missions received the highest priority.
After the spill, the Minerals Management Service was reorganized and renamed the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, Regulation, and Enforcement. We propose this bureau be split into two distinct agencies, one to give out leases and collect revenue, and the other to ensure safety and environmental regulations are adhered to. As the country recovers from the shock of the BP disaster, the government's policies developed in response to the spill are being tested by a return to offshore oil drilling.
I'm directing the Department of Interior to conduct annual lease sales in Alaska's National Petroleum Reserve while respecting sensitive areas, and to speed up the evaluation of oil and gas resources in the Mid and South Atlantic. We plan to lease new areas in the Gulf of Mexico as well.
However, as we move into the future, the world will soon start to suffer from a lack of the resources upon which we are so dependent.
We use about 20 to say 22% of the world's production of oil each day. And we're sitting on about 3% of the proven reserves. So take for example, if we were to decide that we want to be completely independent of foreign oil, we import about half of our needs right now. If we wanted to be completely independent of foreign oil and we're just going to take domestic oil, we're going to drill offshore, we're going to drill inland, we're going to take advantage of everything we've got so that we could be 100% independent, we would use up our proven reserves by about 2030. If we were to keep the same percentage that we currently have of about 45%, 47% domestic production, about 50% foreign production, we could stretch that out to say 2060. But that's it.
Even as oil begins to run out, man's drive for resources will continue to overpower us. Whether through the fever of the 1849 California gold rush or through our current obsession with oil, the human race has always been captivated by Earth's precious resources and has strived to dig deeper. The gold rush of 1849 showed that America is capable of moving past a rush for resources. The oil rush of the present is testing the same authority of the government and a cooperation of the people. The future is uncertain, but we must not turn blindly to it, for we possess in our hands a powerful weapon, the past. As we continue to search for answers about offshore oil drilling, we must look to the past. We must confront the present. We must behold the future.